This another young guy, but I mean, he was an idiot. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be fun. That's a little side thing. But anyways, what happened was this guy kept bringing this damn gun in. And so the next to the last day, you know, this dude comes in. And I mean, this guy carried himself like, you know, I'm bad. And he comes in and he's got the same damn gun. But we are all in the shooting range, but the instructions are clear. Nobody is supposed to be, I can't remember what wording they used, loaded and charged or whatever. You know, you're not supposed to have anything in your gun at all. No ammo. Nothing. You know, we got our ear protection, eye protection off, so our instructor can talk to us. This guy, once again, paying no attention to our instructor because he already knows what's best. He ends up, he's got that gun and he's fiddling with it. And me and my two buddies are watching him. And he's loading up his gun. He's got one in the chamber. And, you know, this gun didn't have a decock or whatever. And he, you know, holds the hammer and lets it down slow. And he starts to holster it. And, you know, I'm just like, what's this dude doing? I didn't know he had one in the chamber at the time, though. And because I was just glancing, why is this guy doing this, you know? And then he goes to holster it. Boom! You know? And everybody's like, what the hell? You know? And I'm like, oh my gosh. You know, this guy right in front of me. Boom! You know, smoke everywhere. And he's like looking around. And I have one buddy who worked with me, good old boy from down in West Virginia, big bear of a dude. He's laughing at this guy, and the guy's looking around, and we're like, what are you doing? He said, I'm looking for the hole. He was looking at the floor, and my buddy from across the river says, the hole's in your ass, boy, and starts laughing at him, and look down, and this guy's got a big hole blown in the, you know, his holster's blown out. He's got a big hole in his pants, black, burn-up hole. It looks like something out of Looney Tunes. Smoke is billowing out of this hole. And my friend, who, God rest his soul, he passed away the other year, a couple of years ago, but good guy. He was standing right behind this guy, angled perfectly for, you know, like trajectory to hit him. And, you know, this all happened so fast. This is my buddy Stanton. And I look over to him, and he's holding his face like this, and I'm like, oh, my gosh. Oh, man, he just blew my friend's face off. And I'm like, Stanton, you okay? Stanton, you okay? And he moves his hands away from his face. And he's got little lead splinters stuck all over his chin. They were just indented into his skin. Not enough to hurt him. Just enough to stick in his skin. And I'm like, oh, thank God, man. I figured half your jaw was going to be gone. There's this hole in the floor like this from that 45 hitting it. I don't know if the guy was using hollow points. I don't know what he was using, but luckily for me and my friends, you know, it wasn't something that ended up hanging all over. It must have hit the floor, caused a big crater, and splintered. And like I said, my buddy had lead splinters all over, but not even enough to make him bleed. But yeah, my buddy from across the river, though, he's like, the hole's in your ass, boy, and laughs this dude out of the room. This guy just walks away, doesn't say anything. And he's holding his ass, excuse my language, holding his rear end while there's smoke and whatever. I don't know what damage he might have done to his rump or whatever, because I didn't look. I saw a hole blown in his arse there, and that was good enough for me. And he goes out of the room quietly. And he was a friend of the instructor's, too. And the instructor talked him up, too. But that was just like, oh my gosh. I was like, it was another reminder that, man, you got to always respect firearms. You can't get too comfortable with them, because that guy probably knew so much more than me, but he wasn't careful. He got too complacent, got too comfortable using firearms, and blew his rear end off in front of a whole crowd of people who had been bragged to about this guy for a week. So I think the next day was the last day of the course. And that guy came in, and he didn't say one word. Not a word. And he had nothing to say at that point. Like I said, this dude was, all during the week he was wearing these special glasses with like a blacked out eye or stuff. I don't know. And, I'm not going to mention his name because, I don't need to put anybody down or have them mad at me about it, but that's honest God, true story. And I figured I'd share that with people because, but yeah, that was how I got to see somebody blow their ass off, so to speak. Excuse the language, but that's what happened. And of course, get back to the drop forge plant and where my dad worked. Everybody's asking how'd it go, and then tell them guys that, and they're just laughing. And I'm guessing the guy wasn't hurt bad. Maybe he just gave himself a nice, suntan on his posterior. I don't know, but I learned a good lesson, and he came back in, we did the test and all that good stuff, and, I passed, and everybody passed. Last I heard about that young kid was a couple months later. He was a security guard in a Taco Bell, the kid who was shooting my target. He was in a Taco Bell and ended up being arrested while he was working as a security guard in a Taco Bell in a really, rough area, because he ended up harassing young ladies who worked there or who were customers there. Anyways, he wouldn't leave the ladies alone and ended up leaving in handcuffs. So that was the guy who was supposed to be there to, I don't know, keep gangs from fighting or something. I don't know. But he was gung-ho. But yeah, there's a lot of weird people in that business. Good guys out there too, and gals, but there are some weirdos, which I imagine that's any type of business. But wow, when you put guns in people's hands and they're not bright to begin with, it's more scary than putting one of those French fry dipper thingies, Yeah, giving somebody who's not too slick a handgun or something is a lot scarier than giving them hamburger wrappers. But that's my story. Maybe you guys can learn from that too. Young folks and older folks who are comfortable, remember, be careful with that stuff, because I watch this guy who was a professional. I mean, he was a retired police officer in a rough town. I'm sure he saw a lot of action. He competed at a national level with handgunning and combat scenario stuff. So, and he blew his ass off. I mean, that's what happened. So don't get too comfortable. Always remember what them things were made for to begin with. And, gosh, yeah, true story, 100% true. And good old folklore, folk fashion, I'm just sitting back telling the story when I should be sleeping. But, you know, I'm just doing the same thing. Like I said, any other devilishly handsome, chubby, full-figured, obscure woodworker guy who makes jewelry, smoking pipes, and turkey calls and things of that nature, other wood creations, would be doing on a Sunday morning after sleeping for like 2 hours. So thanks for your time. I'm going to have to do this 2-part thing. If you stayed with it for the 2 parts, hey, thanks. Thanks for watching. Love you guys. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you later. Subscribe, thumb up, comment, whatever that computer stuff is. And be careful out there. Bye.